What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast. Back in the building with another video. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it. Definitely, if y'all have noticed one thing, I'm no longer orange. Got a new camera. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Logitech. You know what I'm saying? Looking for sponsors. I'm just saying. Logitech camera is great. As you can see, it's crispy. Definitely no more of the orange look, and definitely the mic will definitely be a lot better when it comes down to it. But we got to talk about it, man. This game happened, the Battle of the Bay, which is no longer the Battle of the Bay because the Raiders moved to Vegas. It's still the Battle of the Bay. The people from the Bay, we already know how this works. So Raiders and the 49ers played, and we saw some good things. We saw some bad things. You know what I mean? Just a couple of little nuggets real quick just from some of the drives, what I was seeing. On the first drive, I noticed that the pass plays were working. You know what I'm saying? They were able to be out there wheeling and dealing and doing whatever they want. Pass pro was great. The run was garbage. On our first drive, our run game was horrible, and our run protection was bad. We got into the red zone, but we ended up with a field goal. And then when it came to the defense on their first drive, Jair Brown, if you look at the biggest play that the Raiders had, it was a pass to Brock Bowers. Now, of course, when I'm watching the game, I'm obviously having to listen to the Raiders commentary because the Raiders commentary is saying that Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the NFL, which is a crock because we all know that George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. We already know that much. What's going on, media? What up, what up, what up? What up, everybody? Jason, what's going on? So, I know Diddy Club the Death Sky. I don't know what the hell. I don't know where that came from. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, we'll get to that part. We'll get to that media. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the defense and that play specifically, Jair Brown lost his footing. He was trying to turn around, locate the ball, and high point it all at once. So here's the frustrating thing about that is that. I don't know about the history of the NFL. I'll say he's the best tight end right now. History of the NFL, you're going to have to deal with Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp. Those two dudes, I'm just saying, they were some damn good tight ends. He may be the best tight end in 49er history. I can give him that. Because Vernon Davis's run was too short. But either way, basically looking at the notes, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the run defense, it's still an issue. We started getting gashed, and yes, everybody, has been down on Jair Brown and whatnot. I even heard, I think it was either Mike from NBN or Matt from the Hive. One of those two basically kind of jokingly stated like, hey, trade him over to the Jets. You know what I mean? Or something like that. But he said, hey, look, I'm all right. You stand on business, you stand on business. I respect it. But he did have good position. But if you watch the play over, you'll see him slip before he goes to jump. If he doesn't slip, I think at a bare minimum, he knocks that ball down or he wrestles for it with Brock Bowers to try to negate the catch. But when you slip on the field, you can't help that. So, unfortunately, that happened. You know what I mean? The pass defense did fairly well. Even after that, we held them to a field goal. We tied the game 3-3. Then you come in on our next drive. What are you saying, Tracy? Oh, yeah. Started. Oh, it was Lombardi. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Jason. So the second defensive drive. Actually, I take that back. Our second offensive drive, Mac Jones with a really bad interception. Now, here's the reason why I say that interception is on Mac Jones. Because he saw that damn linebacker. Like, there was no way that you looked at that play and you saw everything that happened and you didn't know you were throwing the ball into a bad spot. This is where Mac Jones can rear his ugly head at times, and it can frustrate you because he'll have a stellar camp, and then he'll go out in the game and do something like this. where you clearly see that linebacker there. You know there's no reason to put the ball there. But the one thing that the 49ers have a lot of is a philosophy of grip it and rip it. And that means just let it go. Hey, we have a play. There's timing. This person's going to be here at this moment. Just throw the ball. And it's preseason, so they give them a little bit of leeway. But for me personally, anybody with a brain in their head could have seen that linebacker was standing right there and said to themselves, let's maybe not throw the ball right here. So that unfortunately wound up to, the interception and whatnot. Yeah, that way definitely less pretty Jimmy G, pause. But basically, you come to the second defensive drive, and we gave up that rushing touchdown. Now, here's what I will say. Okay, Ashton Jeanty is for real, for real. Ashton Jeanty is for real, for real. And he is a binder, as Sheamus from WWE would say. This dude trucked Diamondor Lenore. People don't make no excuses for Demo. I love Demo. I'm very happy he got paid. I love that he's our number one DB, all of that stuff. But hey, every now and then, people get ran over. Demo got ran over. Ashton Jeanty is the real freaking deal. The Raiders got themselves a studded running back. So I hope that works out for them in the future. But yeah, that didn't work out for Demo on that run there. Ashton Jeanty did his thing. So when it comes to defense, third defensive drive, you had Nick Martin with a sack to force a punt, which is great. Fourth offensive drive, Robinson, caught a nice little pass for a first down. We had a few first downs. Then we had a missed field goal by none other than who? Mr. Jake Moody himself. You jump into the second half. Big special teams played by the Raiders to start the second half. Then they had 2 straight first downs allowed by the 49ers defense. Then we had that lovely interception from who? Chase Lucas. Lucas has been balling, people. He has been balling out of his mind. I'm telling you that right now. That guy is definitely making the team. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. With all the injuries that we have, we need all the fresh bodies we can get. We literally have – this is probably the first preseason in the John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan era where there have been so many injuries, I can't keep up with who's on the field. I don't even know who's on the defensive line half the time. I'm trying to figure out who the heck these people are. I got to look at the offensive line and be like, oh, God. Okay, that's McKivitz, that's Pooney. All right. And we've been having Spencer Burford start at left tackle, which has not looked great at all, unfortunately. But basically, when you take a look at it, the first, second half possession we had 2 passing first downs. Then we had a 4th down conversion. We attempted another 4th down conversion in the red zone, but we got stopped by a false start. We had to kick the field goal, you know what I'm saying, and Moody knocks that down. And then let's see here. We have Mahoney. He had a pick in the 4th, and Moody makes the game winner. We definitely love that. And it's definitely a little frustrating at times when you're trying to do what you got to do as far as that's concerned on the field and off the field, because these cats, they can't be good, they can't be bad. But let's just take a look at the numbers just in general to be able to have an idea of what happened. So Mac Jones played 13-16. Well, let's start off with Brock Purdy because obviously he played first. He was 5-7. 66 yards, 9.4 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. And that's what you want. 5-7, 66 yards, having 9 yards to throw. That works for me. That means that, every throwing a quarter or throwing a half, something like that, he's got a first down. And that's all that matters to me. Next up was Mac Jones. Played a good chunk of the game. He was 13-16, 135 yards. He had no TDs, but he did have 1 interception. So Carter Bradley comes in. And Carter Bradley, we all know, is the son of Gus Bradley, who is a part of our defensive staff. Let me tell you something. Carter Bradley is trash. He is hot garbage. He sucks. There's no way around it. It is what it is. I know we would like for us not to have that as a situation, but unfortunately, that's what it is, man. And Carter Bradley is there to good old-fashioned nepotism. Everybody knows what nepotism is, and we understand it. We all know how that works. But Carter Bradley is straight garbage. We did recently sign Nate Sudfeld because we are down. I believe that Mac Jones left the game with a knee injury, and that's part of the reason Carter Bradley was in there. And we literally just signed Sudfeld. So if I'm not mistaken, they'll probably play in this final preseason game. In this final preseason game, do not look for the starters at all. Look for the backups. Look for the guys trying to make this squad. That is the people you want to look for because they will be the ones that are out there trying to earn a roster spot. So Carter Bradley, once again, 8-13, 96 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, but he was sacked twice. Then you come into rushing. We have so many injuries. We are running through running backs like water. And we usually don't have this bad of an injury list when it comes to running backs. But let's go through it. Keyshawn Vaughn, 9 carries, 24 yards. Not bad, but it's only 2.7 yards per carry. And Corey Kiner, 2 for 23, 11.5 yards. Corey Kiner is now down with a high ankle sprain. Jeff Wilson Jr. came back, looks a little different. He only had 8 carries, 16 yards, and 1 TD. And then, of course, you see the other guys, Patrick Taylor Jr., he didn't go anywhere. Like our rush protection was bad. It was bad all game. Then you drop down to the receiving. Of course, Robbie Chosen, 5 catches, 92 yards. DeMarcus Robinson, 3 catches, 44 yards. The note on DeMarcus Robinson is obviously he will be suspended for the first 3 weeks of the season. I'm sure he's going to try to appeal that. To see if he can get it knocked down, at least a game or two. Or, be able to play all together. Usually they don't do that. If they give you several games, you're going to only get 1, maybe 2 games off of that. Then you have Russell Gage Jr., 3 for 25. We also just traded for Sky Moore from the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's another receiver / returner that we could possibly use because we are thin at receiver, as you can see by all these names. We have Isaiah Hodgins catching the ball, 2 for 20, 2 for 21. Tariq Owens, 1 for 17. He was targeted 3 times. Jeff Wilson Jr., 1 for 16. Luke Farrell, 1 for 13. Jake Tonjes, 2 for 11. So on and so forth. You get the gist of it. No passing touchdowns in this game at all, and only 1 rushing touchdown, and that was from Jeff Wilson Jr. So basically right now, when you take a look at the defensive side of the ball, this dude, Nick Martin, was flying around doing everything he could. He started to wake up and find himself 6 tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 of them being a sack. Fantastic game from Nick Martin. Love what I'm seeing from him. We had Chaz Surratt, who probably won't even make the team. He had 6 tackles. Derek Canteen won't make the team, had 5. Jair Brown probably will make the team due to the fact that we drafted him, but he had 4 tackles. Then you got Darrell Luter Jr., 3 tackles. Marquise Siegel, he had 3 tackles. He had a couple of nice little hits too. Jalen Mahoney, 3 tackles. And he had a TFL as well. The other thing as well was I do believe it was Tatum Bethune came up and laid the wood, on Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty stumbled backwards, and a couple of other 49ers cleaned it up and finally tackled him. But he came in and gave him a good pop. As they say in practice, he thudded up something serious. He did. So then you look at everybody else, and it kind of is what it is. So the TFLs belong. 2 of them belong to Nick Martin. 1 to Mahoney, Gibson, and Chase Lucas. Chase Lucas had a sack. Gibson had a sack as well. So that's always beautiful. You got your DBs and your linebackers out there getting after the quarterback. That's always a beautiful thing. Then you have Damone Harris. Looks like he only had 1 tackle, and that was 1 sack. So he had 4 sacks in total. That's not bad. That's great for a defense. We had those 2 interceptions from Chase Lucas, 1, and then the other one was Jalen Mahoney. You saw Junior Bergeron. He did a couple of things in the return game, and we had Dallas Flowers do a few things in the return game as well. So that's not too bad. Of course, his game was on Jake Moody. He was 5 of 6, 1 of 1 on his extra point. So he had 16 points. So out of our 22 points, Jake Moody gave us 16. So that means we only scored 8 points as a unit. That's insane. That tells me we got some issues. Now, mind you, I did say what I said about Moody and him missing that field goal. The thing for me is I need him to be perfect and consistent. You know what I'm saying? And I know those two seem to not go hand in hand, but I just need him to be able to do what he needs to do in the right way at all times. Like when we need him to make it happen. If he makes that extra field goal that he missed, instead of 22, that's 25. Instead of 16, that's 19. You dig what I'm saying? So I just want Jake Moody to continue to keep doing what he's doing. We all know why he stayed. We knew they were going to keep him. But I think the kicker competition was more so, hey, the job is on the line. You better kick like your life depends on it because we spent a high draft pick on you. We don't want to let you go. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So then you flip over to the Raiders side of things. Take a look at what they got. Aiden O'Connell, 15 to 23, 138 yards. No TDs, one interception. Cam Miller came in at the end of the game, two for 6, no TDs, one interception. Of course, you had Geno Smith. He was in there, 6 to 8, 55 yards. So look at that, 6 to 8, 55 yards, 5 to 7, 66 yards. So both quarterbacks are very similar. You know what I mean? Ashton Jeanty, 7 carries, 33 yards, 1 TD. And, you know what I'm saying? He ain't no joke. And I believe his 13-yard long run, that was the run where he ran over Demo, unfortunately. Chris Collier, 4 carries, 26 yards. That's 6.5 yards per rush. Now, we only gave up 77 yards in total. And the only two people, truthfully, in this equation that really matter are Jeanty and Collier. But here's the thing. Look at that. 4.7, 6.5 yards. That's not good. Hell, this dude came in and had one. Zamir White, 1 rush. He averaged 5 yards. So that tells you our rush defense, unfortunately, is still a little bit of an issue. So then you look at the Las Vegas Raiders and what they have as far as receiving. Carter Runyon, 2 catches, 29 yards. Brock Bowers, 1 catch for 28 yards, and that was the only catch he had because that was the catch he got against Jair Brown. Shedrick Jackson, 3 for 28. Jake Beck, 2 for 21. Kadir Ishmael, 2 for 20. It's funny, when I looked at that name, I thought of Quadre Ishmael from a long time ago. I don't know if y'all remember. I'm dating myself. Y'all don't know about that. And then the rest of it is all like, little 2s and 3s and stuff like that. You flip over to the defensive side of the ball, and the Raiders wound up with only 2 sacks. They had 5 TFLs. Chris Smith, Tommy Eichenberg, Charles Snowden, Terrell Edmonds, not to be confused with Terrell Edmonds in Chicago. This is a different one. I thought it was him. I was like, what? They traded buff Steve Urkel over to the Raiders? That's what I call Terrell Edmonds from the Bears. He looks like a buff-ass Steve Urkel to me. Don't judge my life. Just look at his face. And then, of course, you got the rest of the guys. You got Andre Carter II. He had himself a sack. And then it looks like we have Michael Barrett and J.J. Pegas, or I don't know how you say that, Pegas, I don't know. They both shared a half a sack. You got your 2 TFLs from Charles Snowden, obviously one from Carter, another from Adam Butler, another one from Max Crosby, who was flying around on those first few drives. He was every freaking where. Jeremy Chin had the 1 interception. That I believe that was Mac Jones that threw that. Yes, that was Mac Jones who threw that interception. And then you go over and look at them. They had a few kick returns. And then when you look at their kicking situation, Daniel Carson was 4 for 4. He wound up with 13 points because he had 1 extra point that he made. You know what I'm saying? And then they punted. We did not punt at all. I think we just said, forget it. We're going to go for it. And that's that. So when you take a look at the numbers, when you take a look at the game to me said a few things. One, we are just thin at every position because we are putting people out there where we barely even know the names of these people. We're happy that people are making plays, but we're still trying to figure out who the heck they are because we've been injured so much. Now, mind you, coming up more recently, we're going to do a believe me, Carter is definitely a Nepo baby. We're going to do a roster preview after this final preseason game. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense because it's going to happen. We're going to do certain things. So when you look at it, we're thin at DB, we're thin at receiver, we're thin at defensive line. Like, we are thin in most of the places we don't need to be thin at. And what this honestly tells me is If we wind up having to go to our backup offensive lineman, we can pass the ball, but we can't run that ball to save our lives. That run pro was not good in this game. If you think about it, the Raiders only had 77 yards. We only had 64. And our guys, while looking all right, they all averaged low yardage. The only person who had a big average, and he only had 2 carries, and that was Corey Kiner, who wound up going out of the game with that high ankle sprain. And he had 2 carries for 23 yards, and one of his carries was 19 yards. So if you think about it, that's only 4 more yards that he had on the carry. Now, that's still good because 4 yards a carry is a fantastic number to have as a running back. You want that, you love it, you crave it, you need it. It is what it is. But when it comes down to the receiving, of course, we just got to do what we got to do. We got to hope that Juwan Jennings' calf is actually good for week 1 because I would love to start the season with him and Ricky Pearsall on the outside, and we can figure out the slot position later. But for me right now, man, I'm seeing a lot of things, some good, some bad, but it's the preseason, and that's what it's for. Preseason is more so about evaluation, who you want to make the team, who's out there flying around, who's going to, make the plays to be able to stand out amongst people. So here's the thing for me. Robbie Chosen, like him, always a big play dude. Might as well try to keep him. With us trading for Sky Moore, I don't see him wind up being cut. That just doesn't make sense. You can trade for a dude and then cut him. That's backwards. Even though we only gave up, I think, a 6th or 7th round pick for him, still, you gave up a pick for a guy, you probably aren't cutting that dude. The other thing as well is defense doesn't look too bad, but we've got to solve that running problem. And then on top of that, we got to make sure Collins is healthy. We got to make sure C.J. West is healthy because those are our hogs in the middle that are supposed to stop the run for us. Collins has looked horrible this preseason, for my liking anyway, just strictly based on the fact that when you look at what he's done, there's nothing that he's done to stand out. He just looks like a big body. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, well, that's what he's there for. He's there to stop the run. He's there to hold up, 2 different guys. Here's the thing. You ain't got there's no rush moves. There's no swim move, no nothing. It's just you try to bull rush every time. And in the NFL, I'm sorry, bull rushes don't always work. Offensive linemen are way better. They're way smarter and way more athletic than anything you faced in college. So you just being a massive human being trying to bull rush, these guys know how to get you. Don't believe me? I'll tell you exactly how you can defeat a bull rush. I saw this in Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. The minute this dude tried to rush, he literally just grabbed him by the inside and just yanked him down. Boom, done. Now, of course, you can't do that in the NFL, but at the end of the day, there are tactics that these offensive linemen have to work around a bull rush. And the only way they truthfully lose is if their footing is incorrect, or whoever they're going against is that damn strong. Like, Aaron Donald could have bull rushed anytime he wanted. And he could have done it consistently, and he could have won consistently. Why? He's just that powerful. And some people, when it's like that, that's what they're just that damn good. So then you have to look at it from a standpoint of, Alfred Collins. That's all you got. The offensive linemen in the league are laughing because you know what you become. You become a big guy. That's it. You just become a big dude. You just become a massive body, and that's it. As far as our first round pick, Michael Williams, he disappeared after the first preseason game. We ain't seen him since. Why? Because John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan did what they always do and drafted an injury-prone guy. The guy's dealt with an ankle injury his whole college career, and it's hindered him. Now, mind you, of course, you're going to have those people, if week 1 was here, he would play. Oh, if it was time to go, he would do, he would go. Here's my thing. You can't even practice. So that tells me you wouldn't be ready to go. Because when you don't practice, what happens? We all know, people say it with me, soft tissue injuries. You try to get on that field without practicing, without conditioning your body, without going through the offseason program, without building that football callus properly, you're going to go into the season, you're going to wind up injuring yourself. You're going to wind up on the PUP. and we got more than enough people on the damn PUP. We do not need to add to that right now. We got so many people on the injured list. Once again, like I said, we are signing people with. It's so hard to keep up with who the hell's on the field. Now, mind you, of course, this last game, all you're looking at is backups. You are not going to see any starters on the field unless we just don't have the bodies. That's going to be league-wide. This last game is going to be a game for anybody trying to make the team to show up and show out. You need to make a statement. You need to make sure that that team understands if you let me go, somebody else will pick me up. And you want to have that kind of credibility and you want to have that lasting statement to say, hey, I may not have made it on this team, but I got a bunch of other teams that are going to call and inquire because of what I've been doing. That's not a negative thing. It's a great thing. That's what the preseason is for. It's to prove yourself, show your talent, and show your skills, and everybody should be good about it. It's that simple. But when it comes down to, getting into the season and getting into playing and everything like that and consistently being there, we just want to know as an organization that you have enough to be able to last through the season. Now, I can tell you right now, taking a look at everything, I do think out of bare minimum, Lucas has to make the squad. Our draft picks are going to make it because we don't really have a choice. We need them all. Connor Colby has been looking really good. Junior Bergen in the return game has been looking a lot better. You're starting to hear him. He actually was able to go up to the podium and speak. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Nick Martin, looking good. Haven't seen a lot of Upton Stout. Why? Another guy most likely injured. It's just unfortunately how it works. So for me personally, you will look at the DB room, you look at the linebacker room, and you're going to see a lot of turnover. These are going to be new faces. I don't think that Nick Martin or Upton Stout did anything to really steal the job from D. Winters. There was nothing I saw that said that he's going to wind up as backup, so he most likely will be the backup to Fred. He'll probably be the Mike, the second Mike, and that means he will be playing alongside Fred whenever they do those nickel packages, which I'm not mad about because D. Winters has great sideline speed, and he's not too bad in coverage. We just have to make sure he's good about it. And he's looked pretty good this preseason. He looks like the game has slowed down for him. He's made the connection, and now he understands it. He even said in an interview that Fred told him, I'm not telling you I'm not giving you any more tips about what you need to do until you get your hydration right. Or no, my bad. I'm sorry. That was Tatum Bethune. But basically, all of them take tips and tricks from Fred. At the end of the day, our final preseason game will be against the Los Angeles Chargers. And the game's bittersweet, for me anyway. Not for a lot of Niner fans, but for me anyway. And the reason I say for me is because I actually like Trey Lance. I actually thought Trey Lance was definitely the future of the franchise. When you spend that many picks on a guy, you think this guy is going to be here. He's not going anywhere. You've got to at least try to make it work at least 1 to 2 years with the guy. They didn't give Trey Lance not one shot to do nothing. Basically, when he broke his ankle, they went right back to Jimmy. When Jimmy went down, they went to Brock. When they went to Brock, they never went back to Jimmy. And that was it. Jimmy is now with the LA Rams. Brock is here with us. He got paid. He's our quarterback moving forward. Trey Lance is now with the Los Angeles Chargers and with Jim Harbaugh, a guy who loves a black quarterback. The guy truthfully does. You see what he did with Colin Kaepernick. Now, mind you, yes, Colin Kaepernick's run was very short because the league figured him out, and then they didn't necessarily change up the game plan. The one thing you can't say about Jim Harbaugh is he does know what to do with black quarterbacks, and the man had a sustained run. Unlike Kyle, Jim Harbaugh left here with a winning record. Kyle is currently here with a losing record. So it is what it is. But when it comes to Lance hasn't looked bad this preseason. He's actually looked pretty good. When you take a look at his numbers and what he's done, he ain't been doing too bad. You know what I'm saying? The Chargers have played a couple games. Lance has played in those games, and he's done everything that he needed to do when it comes down to it. So I can't be mad that Trey Lance is out there balling, doing his thing, and trying to, continue to get better. I do believe he's won that second QB spot. Why? Because they've given him more time. You don't see a lot of Taylor Heineke. You know what I mean? you'll see a little bit different, when it comes to it, as far as that's going. What 2025 preseason? Let's take a look at it. So Trey Lance right now is your passing leader. He is 27 of 49, 55.1 completion percentage. It's actually not really good at all. It's actually fairly bad. But if you look at the preseason, 296 yards passing. He's leading the team in that. And then when it comes to rushing, he is leading in rushing. He's got 81 yards. So that's not a bad thing. That means he's using his legs properly. Lance has basically 14 carries for 81 yards. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry, and he has a touchdown. With his passing, he has 2 touchdowns. He has no interceptions. That's damn good. That's really good. Because for us, we're going to be trotting out Carter Bradley and Nate Sudfeld and hope and pray they don't screw the game up. So it's not, and I understand people are going to look at me and be like, oh, you still talking about Lance, you've been gone. At the end of the day, the dude has a tie here because he was unfortunately drafted by a head coach that did not want him, that never gave him a chance to succeed. I don't care what anybody thinks or what anybody says. He never gave Trey Lance a fair shot. He didn't want him. He just basically was told, you can't draft Mac Jones. Why? Look at last week and look at that interception. That's why you can't draft Mac Jones. Because you're basically drafting Jimmy G 2.0. And now he Jimmy G 1.0 because he looked just like him. Nothing different. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the actual looks. But that doesn't mean anything. So at the end of the day, when we go up against the Chargers, once again, for me, bittersweet. Our old head coach, our old quarterback. Like, these are things that come into play. And if you notice one thing, this is why I say that Kyle isn't a quarterback builder. He doesn't know how to do that. That's not his thing. Don't expect Kyle to be out there coaching up the quarterbacks or doing any of that. It's just not who he is. But what I can tell you is that Kyle's great with undrafted running backs. When Kyle gets into the playoffs, he doesn't do anything less than go to the NFC Championship. Here's the problem. It's only happened 4 times. The man's been here 9 years. What about the other 4 years? Because this is the 9th year technically. What about the other 4 years? Failures, left and right. I don't care if there's injuries, any of that. Like, this season is just basically a measuring stick for Kyle to see if he can get himself another job. Because to be honest with you, if we fire the dude, somebody's going to hire him right away. Kyle is a good offensive mind. I don't give him great because he can't win the Super Bowl. Sorry. You become great when you can win the Super Bowl. You become great when you can outduel people. You become great when going into the fourth quarter, you actually can come back and you can, and win a game. You become great when your team plays in bad weather, you actually win. You become great when you can actually beat the Kansas City Chiefs, which you've never done in your whole career. So I don't give Kyle Shanahan a moniker of great. I give him good because he is a good offensive coordinator. He is a good head coach. But this greatness that people throw out for people, I have no idea what you guys are looking at, but you're not paying attention. You're being selective. You're picking and choosing what you want. I'm looking at everything as a broad spectrum. At the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan has 4 winning seasons, 4 losing seasons. And we have no Lombardis to show for it. We got 2 trips to the Super Bowl and 2 failures, 2 L's. So when we go into the season is a measuring stick to see if Kyle can keep his job. Because I believe he has 1 more year on his contract after this. Jed York better not give him another damn red cent until he sees a Lombardi. I'm not giving Kyle an extension until I get my Lombardi. If I'm Jed, that's just me. I know a lot of people have speculated that the Yorks have been, not really focused too much on the Niners because they're focusing on their soccer team. And they're focusing on this and focusing on that. At the end of the day, this is their cash cow, so they better pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And Crazy Juice said it best, man. There it is. Kyle is a good coach. That's it. But when it comes down to it, if we sneak into the playoffs, that's a blessing. I'm saying 9-8, I am saying 9-8 or 10-7. That's just me because that's just how I think. Exactly. And see, here's my problem. I say things and I get called crazy. I get laughed out the room, or people think that I don't make no sense and I don't know football and all kinds of shit. But then other people say the exact same stuff that I'm saying, yet they get credit. There's more followers, there's more views, there's this or that. And I don't understand that. Because for years, I've been sitting here screaming, Kyle isn't a good head coach. Or Kyle isn't a great head coach. He's good. He's not great. Other people listen out. Oh, see, you just a hater. You just don't like Kyle. Lots of people are starting to realize what I've been saying for years. So now that y'all jumping on the bandwagon and y'all saying what I say, give me my credit. When you start talking about the negativity and you start seeing all the things that you see in Kyle and you start pointing that stuff out, give credit where credit is due. Make sure you shout my name out. Make sure you say Dion from Niner Gang Podcast has been saying this for years, and we blindsided or we literally sat there like the monkey like this because we didn't want to realize the truth of it. I've been telling y'all for years, Kyle is mid. He ain't great. You can't be great when you don't finish the job. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, we have a ton of injuries. We are going into the season with a makeshift offensive line, as we always do with paper mache. You know what I'm saying? The only two viable offensive linemen we have are Trent Williams and Dominic Cooney. We all know the rest of the line is trash. Just when you think Colton McKivitz is great, a simple swim move is how Max Crosby got past him. Very easy. That's pathetic. That's our starting right tackle. Jake Brendel couldn't read a defense and call out line shifts to save his life. You leave it to Chris Forrester. Oh, Brendel's great. You just got to watch the tape. You don't understand. How is it that fans can tell this offensive line has issues, but the people in the building seem to think it's okay? Just because you make it to a Super Bowl with a mediocre offensive line doesn't mean you leave it mediocre. It means you lucked out and you upgrade and get something else going. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? So this game versus the Chargers, once again for me, bittersweet because I got love for Trey. I hope the young man does well. I hope that someday he actually gets to start and shits on Kyle Shanahan and proves him wrong. Now they did ask Kyle in his most recent interview about Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Kyle answered in a very Kyle way. You know, he curved a lot and, you know, acted as if, you know, he wanted the best for Trey and this, that, and the third. I'm sorry. When you never give a man a chance and you care less if he exists, you really don't care. You know what I'm saying? But it is basically how it is. Wait a minute. Let me show you. Don't be next time you want to go live alone, give me a day notice. I'll jump on. Oh, I got you. If you want, I mean, shit. Look, you want to jump on anytime, Steve-O? You know how to get at me. You know what I'm saying? You can come on. And there ain't no one-trick pony about me, buddy. I do what I do. I've always been this way with my channel. I know I have to get better about setting a time and a day to go. And I think I'm gonna do probably Wednesdays, maybe Wednesday evening or maybe even Thursday evening. Lots of people go live at so many different times. So I do my stuff randomly just to be able to do what I do. But ain't no one trick pony about me in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I give you a little bit of everything, and I show every. You know, I play the hand I'm dealt. So you know, I don't know what this one trick pony stuff is, but I guess. But when we play the Chargers, we'll talk about that game afterwards. But for the moment, let's just be happy about some of the things that we have seen. Nick Martin starting to look a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Even though he can't play right now because he's injured, I love CJ West. That guy's energy and his personality is infectious. He just like when he smiles and he laughs, like you just want to be around the dude. Just want like it's the homie. You know, the funny thing is him and DJ Jones did meet. They asked DJ Jones about that, you know, and he said he was trying to pick his brain a little bit. And then off top, He did say, yeah, he does look a little bit like me, so that's cool. I like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of it. That's the fun of it. That's the fun of football. Seagulls look pretty good. Like what I'm seeing from him. Love what I'm seeing from Chase Lucas. You know what I mean? Honestly, I felt Corey Connor was going to be the best running back that we had until he went down with the injury. I do see Jordan James is back at practice. I do see Isaac Garindo is now back. I think he's okay from the shoulder injury. I don't know if he'll play that final preseason game. I doubt it highly because he's technically our RB2. You know, and I think honestly, just due to the injuries, we may see Jordan James wind up on the practice squad, and they may keep Jeff Wilson Jr. as the third running back. He's a lot skinnier than he was when he was last with us. He looks a lot different. He's shaved facial hair. He's just got like a little goatee, but he looks a lot smaller too. So that may be the case just because Jeff knows the system. He understands how it works, and he seems to work pretty well in the system. You know, once again, Kyle makes stars out of UDFAs when it comes to running backs. He makes him a star. He really does. Him and Bobby T, I don't know what they do, but they find ways. The scheme works for undrafted running backs. If we draft you, it is what it is. And look at what happened. Jordan James, we ain't even seen him. It's unfortunate. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Definitely trying to continually get the channel going and do more videos and keep things going. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Everybody stay up, stay faithful. Appreciate the compliments, Steve-O, on the background. Definitely going to upgrade some things and definitely probably get myself into one of these little plans for StreamYard so I can do a little bit more. But thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back next week with more videos. Peace.